People are often neglected for their truer or self-demanding ideas and opinions. They are made to do things they don't want, and especially they are made to think in contrast to their thoughts. In our modern life, we can observe all kinds of problems and failures which we do not talk about very often. And for the sake of knowing ourselves, we must come face to face with these unassuming obstacles. This video contains everything that is confronted as a mere phenomenon. It is subtle, but it can be a blizzard if you don't realize how much of an impression it marks on us. So please watch this video till the end. In a world which does not seem to slow down, most of us are afraid to come to the other side as an individual. Being an individual self is starting to feel somewhat obscure. A tremendous effort is required by us to blend inside the society where human consciousness is simply being conscious for the sake of others or for the fear of standing out among the crowd. Our mind instinctively filtered out the performance required by the circumstances, and interestingly, we are not so bothered by this process as we ought to be. It seems like we are afraid of showing our true personalities, where our society wants a being with the lack of differential personalities. Something strange has happened within the passage of time from 2017 to present, and it's concerning how blind people have become. It might look like this because I have grown up since then, and I simply didn't notice such things back then because I was just a child. But even so, it is uncanny to see what a world has become now. A modern world which seemingly has lost all its essence of simple human understanding and compassion, where people are guided by an algorithm of different trends and culture. A mob of people following whatever the media has guided for without looking at the background information and without checking the results of such forms. We are too self-obliged to take things for granted. Everything is right there on the internet, so why bother to look and know it all at this instance? A vague question for a polluted mind. And people are blessed for this outrageous behavior by the system, and those who are aware of its effect are scared to stand up. They are choosing a risk-free life by silencing their voice and ideas and performing to live for the sake of living. You can brag as much as you want about how self-aware you are, but the moment where it is required to voice your awareness, you choose to be mute or choose to be ignorant. Art created, music produced, film directed, book written for the sake that it exists, and people would take them all for the sake of consuming. Every form of art and creation are there now because people must create something, and not for the need of the creator to put themselves into their created parts to show certain aspect of them, giving meaning and depth to it. Everything has gotten hollow now, as if a soul has left all of us, and always remains is this person of us who have to consume and think as a group and reform ideas and art again to burden the earth with more junk of ourselves and repeat the process all over again. This is an exaggeration. Of course, there are some exceptional people. Maybe the world would have lost all its values and purpose if all of us were as distinct and hollow. The idea represented here is most of us are actually exceptional, and the problem is we are hypocrites. A performer for the audience of high status and for our societal peers, so we don't fall out from their community, and more of a slave to the system with silenced ideology. Living as of speaking now have become some kind of engraved chores. It is not a miracle that you exist. If you are watching this video, it means that you are here really, whether you like it or not. You have to do these chores until you cease to exist, and it's only a little time you have got, so please do yourself a favor and start objecting. Start to become you. Do not just consume, submerge in its depth, and rise as a reconstructor. Living just because you are here is not all the life you've got. The life you have got is not even beginning yet, and it won't begin until you show yourself to the world, the hidden person under that mask, the one which is tired of being oppressed and silenced. Go on and release that article with opposing ideas. Contradict, criticize as much as you want. As long as it is you who is doing it, it does not matter much how wrong you are. A thing must be wrong first for it to be right. And a wrong version of your contradiction is much better than the polished right version of your performer self. Greatness does not mean an absence of feeling burnout. It's the state of mind where all the hard work becomes a necessity to perform the task. The task itself is an entity which has to be fulfilled no matter your excuses, so greatness actually means living with your discomfort and not being overwhelmed by it. Only then you can call yourself great. So we all desire to become great. It's a trait among many of our habits, but the problem is you only like the idea of becoming great because deep down you know what is required for you to do in order to achieve that. And now you are in your bed, probably all cuddled up in a blanket and thinking about your prospects of wonders. People just like to dress in its aesthetics and not actually want to do all the activities to become that person, which you could be if it was not for your laziness and your desire to live in comfort. Well, it does not altogether means that surely you will become great if you step out of your comfort zone. It takes lots of effort. Your desires and wants do not care about your routine, your health, your potential and problems. It just stays and seizes us, making ourselves a hostage in our own life. And to fulfill them, we have to cross the line, ironically drawn by us, get up being uncomfortable, and give ourselves what we asked for. Living could be easy if you are content, but you are not. We just cannot be content. You want more because you know you deserve to have more. There is this emptiness along the way of our vision and our current state. And that emptiness likes to taunt us in a way that our stomach clots. And it reminds us that we are condemning ourselves for nothing, for this lifeless life that we are living, and just waiting for it all to come to an end. You are so sick of this, you say, and then lapse back into that same narrow corridor which blunt your mind and then your body, and you are bound by your own body which has abandoned you. You want to run, but you can't. You want to create, but it becomes so bothersome. Individualism is another realm for you. You simply cannot even perform a minimal task without bearing all of its heaviness. You are wasted, and you waste such a life that you had just because you gave in to the comfort. Comfort is essential to some essence, but it is more like a drug. The more you get it, the more addicted you become. Our body tends to adapt according to the easiest method it can function, and repetition into this habitual easiness numbs our ability to work. Everything it starts to fill with callousness, and our senses differ along with our desire. We choose to do less just to live less. The absence of discomfort in our life is a wolf in sheep's clothing. If we are not given discomfort, then we won't know the sweet taste of comfort. And this same taste of comfort repeatedly can get us drunk where we do not want the bitterness of discomfort anymore. And right there we can observe a person filled by temptation of sweetness. Comfort is a kind of illusion. It's like acting blind in the face of truth. If you are to be great, you would not succumb to this trifle of mere illusion. Like I said before, greatness has its own vice and it has to be carried out. Being successful does not mean it's all flowers and honey all the time, and you're not even there yet. So what can you expect? You cannot always hide in a safety zone, it won't suffice. You can make 100 excuses, you can lie as much as you have to, but you cannot lie to yourself. You cannot trick yourself. I believe that if you are a decent human, then you would feel a certain shrinking each time you lie to yourself, and you become hateful towards everyone and everything, but most of all towards yourself. You would shrink to such a size that you start to become fearful of the smallest of things. You cannot run away from yourself, and if you feel so much like this, why are you still gazing for falsity which you know won't satisfy you? And to satisfy yourself, you have to follow that scent lurking from your future, This certain vision has perplexed your mind, and you become restless while resting. And I don't want you to wait any longer. Time has been wasted for as long as we can remember, and you cannot afford to lose any more of it. Follow that spark which seldom lights up in your soul. If you won't seize that chance, then soon you won't be lighted again. Passion is a strong weapon. It might be the only weapon which can bring us out from this slump of softness. Become furious and delirious towards your passion, and make what you wanted to make for so long. Be so driven that you won't be offended by your own rhythm. You can gain your pace and start running again. But give up now, and your life will be taken away from your hand, and you would be left with just yourself, the self which has destroyed itself for nothing. Sometimes, no matter how much effort, no matter how much of ourselves we had given into our art, which we were so passionate about, it all turns to being nothing. Just like a swift wind, all our devotion fades into nowhere, and we are left to deal with the aftermath. It's so sad, really, when a deserving artist does not get a shred of attention. The hard truth to life is people do not really care as to what you are doing. And we know the world does not revolve around us, and there is no one to blame. Your art does not get recognized, and sometimes it vanishes without being observed. A stillness devours your whole life of meaning, and now you are terrified that this must be it, that you are not what you thought you were. You did everything right and gave birth to your creation for it to be vain in the unsolicitous eyes of the whole world. And now you are crushed from your soaring expectations. You deemed yourself unworthy now and suffer excruciatingly. If I am to tell you to not give yourself to despair and try again, would you? You might, but let me tell you, you would be more disappointed. Trying again and again is good for honing your skill, but to satisfy your heart which longs for your art to be observed and loved as you do, it is a loop which you are bound to repeat in the hope of getting some attention or simply being understood, a futile, unceasing delusion. Well, this is not helping, and it won't. I myself am somewhat fallen in this maze. I have not found a solution yet, and I also believe there is none. The only way to release this stillness is to do nothing for a while. Sometimes running away from your problem is better than trying to find a vague solution for the time being. A solution will appear once you become ready to confront it. Be still and let the stillness vanish, and hope once again. What can we do? We cannot scream in front of a crowd and force them to see us. Miracle does not exist, and we only have ourselves. Whatever you do, if you love what you do, never stop making that. Make it not for others, not for even yourself. Just make it, because making it will complete you. People fail to notice how impactful their own art is for themselves, so make your art to fulfill that hunger, because no one else can give it to you. Perhaps I have tried to create time through writing these pages. I begin, I fill them with words. I pile them up, and I still don't exist because nobody is reading them. A quote from I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I have been disturbed by this quote. Our whole significance is rated the moment we're observed. And if we are not observed, we would not exist. I would not have lived for you, who have never known me, and you for me. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? I believe it does, because the tree is not there for us. It is just there, so it will make a sound. If our art is not perceived, then does it exist? It won't. Art is meant to be perceived and felt. All meaning from art would cease unless it touched someone. But we are the observers ourselves. Our art would survive. The stillness would freeze your life, and you would wait and let the time pass, and the art would emerge again, gaining your whole being, and you would create again and again, letting it breathe into you if others do not get this chance. The significance of what you make is still greater than you, so you may not exist, but your art would, and with your art, some part of you do.